Hello everybody, a very good morning. I hope you're well. Welcome along. It is of course Carnation Crafts TV. Great to have your company. And yes, it's that time of the month. The time of the month that I look forward to, probably the most in actual fact, coming along to see Taz and Carla and to see you as well with the brand new launch of the latest Carnation Crafts selection for you, the latest launch collection. And what a collection this is. We're in it well and truly at the moment in the depths of winter, but we've got a bit of a glamorous edge to winter, this particular collection today. This is a stunning, stunning collection. Now, if you're a fan of your handbags and your shoes, and who doesn't love a glamorous handbag and shoe, Carla?
Don't own a handbag, don't have the shoes.
Oh well, you have now. Now this collection today is absolutely gorgeous. I've got some good news as well. You know the vignettes that you print off that match the dies? Well, normally there's one vignette that's free, and then there are usually other colourways that you can actually purchase. Well, what we're giving you today is not only the free vignettes as you'd normally expect in one colourway, there's another colourway on the website as well that you don't have to purchase. It's there for you free. So you can have different coloured shoes, different coloured handbags, different coloured oak leaves. These are lovely, and there's one very, very, very important extra in here which is going to transform your cards. It's a pop-up mechanism. So now the pop-up mechanism will work with all of this obviously because it's in the collection. There it is, just there. But it's going to basically add that pop-up dimension to any other cards from Carnation that you might be making as well, and just all your cards in general. And Carla's going to be showing us how to use that. But to start with, the heart of the collection is always the card shape, and I think that's what makes it totally unique with Carnation. There are always really innovative, really unusual, beautiful, glamorous card shapes. This time we've got what we've got all around us on the floor at the moment, on the grass and everything else out there. We've got our leaves. We've got our fantastic oak leaf, as you can see, and that can be your card blank. You've got your matting and layering dies to go with that as well, the beautiful other leaves around it too. Pop-up mechanism. You've then got the crystallized wisp. Have you ever had a crystallized wisp?
Maybe a crystallised whisper if I've left it in the fridge a bit too long.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you're going to get that in there. You've got your deep winter foliage over here as well. Then down the bottom, that's where you've got the glamour. You've got those high-heeled shoes. I can see Carla in all of those, with the handbag to match as well. The beautiful decorative corner. And then down the bottom there, you've got that beautiful spray too. Now, the whole collection is brand new and exclusive to us at Carnation as well. $124.99. You can't buy this anywhere else other than here. Hello Mandy, good morning Carla, Taz and Dave. Hello Mandy, nice to know you're there. Morning everyone, Sarah Young's getting in touch. You can watch us of course on YouTube, on Facebook, and also of course at carnationcrafts.co.uk as well, and get in touch, say hello. We'd love to give you a shout out and a mention. But today we're going to give you a discount code. Now this you can't use in conjunction with other discount codes, but here it is. It's GOWCC10. Okay, so the Glamour of Winter, GOWCC10, that will give you 10% off at checkout. So you'll get £12.49 knocked off your price. And you can also, of course, pay in full if you want to, debit or credit card, or you can pay using ClearPay if you'd rather do that too. But what a collection this is.
It's gorgeous, right?
Carla, morning.
We love it when there's a launch. Good morning, everybody. Can I just say a massive shout out to Janine, who's watching, who is... we all know Janine is amazing at making cards. She's head DT, and just a shout out to her because she works incredibly hard for Carnation and she is a bit of a corker. Good morning, Janine. I hope you're really well.
So she'll be known now as Janine the Corker. Yeah?
Janine the Corker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Can I quickly, before we start to demo and all that sort of thing, can I just show you some of the design team's cards because they are exquisite. It kind of shows you the potential. Barbara, morning Barbara. Barbara's one of the design team, has done this one. The glamour of these, absolutely beautiful. I'll show you the pop-up mechanism in a second as well because that is something to behold. This one here, you've got that lovely glamorous high-heeled shoe on the front, and then as if by magic, surprise!
Isn't that gorgeous? So clever, isn't it?
And the mechanism allows you to do that. How would you do that any other way?
I've made so many pop-up cards. They're so hard to get everything right on a pop-up card. So to have a mechanism that does it is just epic. From me to you.
Oh, warmest wishes, this one. Who's done this one? This is Vera Bow has done this one. Really lovely. And that's using some of our oval dies that we've actually got in the show coming up. We've got mats and layer dies in the oval shape coming up soon. There we are, look. And bearing in mind, you've got your potential to do the double vignette, so you've got a left and a right-hand shoe now.
Aye,
Yeah.
which is always handy.
Always handy.
I did say yesterday in the Facebook Live, if you ever see me wearing a pair of heels like that, please do call the police. I've been kidnapped and I'm trying to send you a signal.
Barbara's done this one as well. Oh, they're stunning. They really, really are. I mean, Carnation has always got that signature look. You can tell a Carnation craft card a mile off, I always think. The luxury is there, the quality is there, the imagination is there, and now your pop-up's there as well. That's 2 pop-ups.
That is, I know, so you can do layered pop-ups, which is incredible, isn't it?
Isn't that
and they
amazing?
look so clever. And what I love about this is when you start to think of the Carnation collections of the past as well, with all the little characters on it. Think of the Christmas jumpers that we just brought out, those little vignettes, and the little Christmas animals that could be popping up from the inside of cards as well. You've got so many ways of making this work for you. It's brilliant.
I mean, now anything can pop up.
Literally.
Anything. When you least expect it, you'll get a pop-up.
You behave yourself, Dave.
Okay.
Look at that. Isn't that great?
Nothing in that one. Sorry. I thought there was a pop-up in there. There is in this one, though. Ready? Look at that.
I love that.
And that's using the oat leaf as the pop-up.
Isn't it amazing? Absolutely stunning, right?
Beautiful.
There's so many things you're going to be able to do with this collection as far as building up what you've already got and making it progress into something completely different. And I love that. So go to Spring Forward, where you've got the little bunnies and all of those kind of things, where you can do those pop-ups for Easter cards. Valentine's is coming up soon, so get your nested heart dies and use those on the inside to do those gorgeous pop-ups. If you were to use a little bit of acetate as well, you would be able to have a big heart coming up on that pop-up, open it out, and those little hearts would come out as well. There's so many ways you can play with this.
Now,
absolutely brilliant.
Remember, you can order on the phones, you can order on the website. That's probably the best way to actually order it. It's product number 221201. So on our website, carnationcrafts.co.uk, pop that into your basket. Also, the lovely thing is if you order it now, the great guys and girls at Carnation Crafts are super duper quick. When you place your order, within probably a few minutes, they're picking and packing your order and posting it to you. Very many of you get it the next day. With the postal situation and so on, it may take an extra day or whatever, but you'll get it very, very quickly. So certainly well in time for Christmas if this is going to be a Christmas gift for someone. But also, of course, you can print off the artwork straight away in those different colorways, absolutely free of charge, by going to carnationcrafts.co.uk now. So yeah, and again, all of this is going to work so well with previous collections that you may have got from Carnation as well. But we're in that kind of quite dark time of the year where it's nice to have something very glamorous, uplifting. We're in the party season coming up as well. So you've got your glamorous shoes, your glamorous handbags, those beautiful foliage wisps and so on in there as well. You're going to have so much fun with this collection. And don't forget that all-important discount code. You won't get it without it. GOWCC10. So basically, the Glamour of Winter, GOWCC10, that will get you 10% off at checkout. And that's not usable with any other discount codes that you may have access to. Okay, but we're going to do the boards so we can show you everything that you're going to be getting in this collection. And by the way, the pop-up mechanism, if you just want that today on its own, we are offering that as a separate item. So if you just want to make all the cards that you make now as pop-ups, here it is. It's 221209 and it's only £17.99. So all the scoring lines, all the cuts and everything that you need, no measuring needed. It transforms any card into a pop-up magically, and Carla will show you how to do that a bit later.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that might sell out. So if you do want the pop-up on an individual, that's the one to grab as quick as you can and to check out with it, because I don't think that's going to last very long, just to let you all know. So, Glamour of Winter. Oh, let's get that into focus. Look how pretty that is. Is that not just absolutely stunning? Where you've got it here, can you just see down the spine? It's got like a winter crust. It looks kind of like it's icy. It's very, very pretty, very, very beautiful. You've got the gradient going through from a darker purple through to the white at the top. So it's a really stunning view. Now, I will say, when you're cutting this, my advice, take it or leave it. Cut this in a 350 if you can, but if you want to cut it in a 220, it will cut through easier. Whichever way, I would advise you to use Cut Tidy. It's going to be your best friend. It's going to help all of those pieces just pop out. And I found it a lot easier with the Cut Tidy, just to let you know. You've got those beautiful larger leaves and then the smaller ones. You can create the most beautiful kind of sprays with this. You're also getting your outside card shape and you're getting your mats as well, so you can start to really build up. Because this is the skeleton of the leaf, you can put different colours underneath it to really make it pop.
If you cut that out like 6 times, you could have like a fan, couldn't you?
Could indeed. That would be very glamorous,
It would,
Mr. Dave.
yeah.
But yeah, you can put different colours underneath it. So if you cut that, say, as it is and put Miri card underneath it, or cut it in Miri card and put a different colour underneath it, you're going to start to really build up those collections. So yes, as it stands, it's got those winter colours to it. But obviously, once you start using it in different colours as well, it would be amazing for autumn. Colour of autumn, that would be incredible for. So if you were to cut it in an orange or a red, just stunning. The pop-up mechanism. Okay, so this is the biggie. This is the thing that changes crafting as we have it. So you can see here there's a little tab just where my hand is. If I pull that down, okay, you've got a little tab there. When we open this, ta-da, ta-da, it fully opens up and it's all there ready for you to play. And then you've got the little piece here and the little piece here. Now I'm going to go through it with you on how to make it. So I'm not going to explain that now, but just to show you that that is the pop-up mechanism. You can see that you've got score lines in here. The little tabs here are the ones that I was referring to that just slot through the back. Everything comes together and that fold line works. And then this is the mechanism as well that you'll use on the actual card.
And you know for a fact that if you go and buy cards, if it's got a pop-up in the middle of it, it's going to be another £1 on top of the cost of the card, isn't it? So you can make more money if you do make to sell. A pop-up is giving you that kind of extra point of difference.
It's just cute, isn't it?
Yeah.
And kids love pop-ups. I love pop-ups. Anything that's got an engineering for me, so anything that's kind of automata, which is what pop-up cards essentially are, I just like those aspects to it because it's how we can make it change, how we can make it progress as a card. It's an important aspect. For your shoes and hat, these are so pretty. Look at all your colours coming together. You've got the gorgeous purple tones that come in with that leaf that we saw at the beginning. Your winter reds. What are the fancy shoes that have got red undersides?
Oh, Jimmy Choo's.
Louboutin.
Oh, Louboutin. Jimmy Choo's got red soles as well, hasn't it? I think.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Choo and
I don't know.
Louboutin.
That's why I was asking you two the question.
I'd pay money to see you in one of those. Tottering down the high street.
No, Dave, that's not happening. I get seasick when I'm wearing socks. You've got this really gorgeous corner element here that is just so pretty. I talked yesterday in the Facebook Live about the importance of corners on cards. They're one of your biggest construct aids. So when you use them, it allows you to visually draw everything to the center of your card, so you're getting your showstopper element, and that's what corners do. So they actually play a hugely significant part in the card making process, and that's why Carnation always give us these spectacular corners, because it's such a big part of that end product that we make. So you've got your handbags, you've got your shoes there. That's one selection of them. You also have your decoupage elements. Each one of these elements has a base layer to it, so you can make cards just from these. You can also do mats and layers with this, and your corner dies are also split dies, so you can do over the edge ones, which look stunning. So think of this as being a massive card. If you had this here and you were to place this section over the edge, and you would have that coming over the side of your card in the bottom, just stunning, beautiful.
Now, I know loads of you use the vignettes, which is why they're there, but some of you actually use the vignettes as a guide to art. So if you're really into your crafting and you want to colour in and use paints and crayons and pencils and things like that, and use the vignettes as a guide, that's another way of using them, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can use it as a teaching mechanism. Carnation have always been very strong about the idea of taking you on a journey, if you're a beginner card maker, that you can start with any of Carnation's collections and you can work your way forward. And when you can do that, I do apologise, something just hit the camera, just so you know, it's not me wobbling. When
the walls are falling down.
The walls are falling around us. When you do that and you can start to progress, and you've got a teaching mechanism, not only in how you make cards, but then also in the idea of shading and things like that, so we can start to play in different ways. And it's an important aspect of Carnation. This, I think, is my favourite. Look, I love that. That handbag is so pretty. There's something very, very beautiful and ornate about that. It almost looks like flames, doesn't it?
Do you know what's making me think of this collection? Wheeler.
It's about as Wheeler-tastic. I can see Wheeler in
Dawney
those.
in those shoes and with her handbags. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
not quite the story she had at the weekend.
We all know a Wheeler, don't we?
We do all know a wheeler, but this is this is wheeler down to a T, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just so pretty. I'm so in love with the corner elements. I think they're so strong, and they've got such a statement about them. All the snippability that we would expect for Carnation. And then finally, a shoe that's not a stiletto. And so if I had to have a heel, I would be wearing a heel like that, because I feel like I wouldn't fall over quite so much. This handbag specifically is a complete boon. If you cut down the pip lines here, it's as if it opens and you can put flowers cascading out of the handbag. Like it's super pretty. And I love this trumpet corner. I just think that's so, so pretty. There's something very elegant about it. Which is the collection? Nobody's going to know the name. Everybody at home, start with your brains. Question time. Which is the collection that's got the church in it? It's got the full church.
Oh, crikey.
I can't remember the name of the collection. No, it's from early days Carnation, within the first year. Carnation, if you're watching, what's the name of the collection with the church? This would look beautiful with the church in the background.
Our lovely viewers will know. They'll tell us, I'm sure.
The viewers will know. Somebody will know. The church collection, it's got a big church in it. It's got a church that you can sort of bend and fold. Janine, you're brilliant at these sort of things. How pretty is that? They're so important, these elements. We've seen stuff like this from Carnation before. They make such a difference to your backgrounds. They make such a difference to your contrast, all the ways that we can play. Yes, Miss Taz?
Kind thoughts.
Kind thoughts.
Kind thoughts.
That's the one. So the winter honeysuckle, that would go with kind thoughts so well. If you thought of the two together, would just be so beautiful. Yes, Miss Taz.
If you want to buy that die,
Kind thoughts.
The church.
The church on its own.
191209.
191209 if you want the church on its own. Thank you, Taz.
Thank you, Miss Taz. She's very good.
She is very good.
That's called a kitten heel. Thank you, Linda. I'm glad somebody knows these things because I most certainly do not. To me, it's just got one of them things on it that you've got to stand on that hurt my calves. So you've got these, which are very, very delicate. Now, if you look at how narrow those pieces are, that Carnation can get a die that can cut something that delicate. It's very rare we see those things within the crafting industry because it's easier not to, and Carnation just take it to the next level.
And also, there aren't many companies that actually give you the artwork for something as fine as that. There's the artwork for the leaf, for every aspect, for every die that's in here. There's the coloured artwork that you can print off.
Absolutely, and that's important. It gives us extra playway. But this is so pretty. Those berries are just beautiful. You've got your reds, your purples and your whites. They're all kissed with ice, which I think is so pretty. And then your leaves. These are brilliant. So we can tuck in. Take one of each of those and take two of the leaves. Leaves either side, the berries all tucked in the centre. Use it as a hanging piece from a corner. Use it as a spray coming out. Suddenly we're making something very pretty without even having to do anything. This collection is beautiful because we can strip it right back to its bare form, or we can really go to town on it. It gives us a lot of playway. And this wisp is so pretty.
The crystallised wisp.
The crystallised wisp is so gorgeous. You've got those tiny delicate flows. It's got that gorgeous S-curve to it. Always very, very lovely when we've got a card. Two of these side to side, so they flow outwards and then back inwards, are just gorgeous. But it's got that frozen morning element to it that we see during the winter, and it's really reminiscent of kind of forests, isn't it? That icicle that sort of sits, and it's just. Do you know also what it reminds me of? This is why Carnation don't like it when I tell the stories. I'm not very good at the storytelling element, but it reminds me, when cobwebs freeze in the winter and they look so pretty, don't they?
Yeah.
They look really gorgeous. It's kind of got that feel to it. It's so pretty. And I think, so for the main collection, that's everything.
And coming soon for Carla, we'll have the hobnail boot collection, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, Nick, if you could just put a couple of pairs of Doc Martens and some trainers in there, I'd be a very happy girl.
Well, it's the Glamour of Winter collection. Remember, we do this once a month. So this is the last live collection. Or the exclusive collection for 2022. The next one will be in January. So if you fancy getting this ahead of Christmas time, if this is going to be your Christmas gift or Christmas treat to yourself, feel free to go for it right now. And if you make cards to sell, the popularity of what you're selling is very, very important to think about. If you make cards and they don't fly off the shelf, you're going to be disappointed. You've kind of thrown your money away a little bit. But when you bear in mind how popular shoes are, how popular handbags are. How many people do you know that have got handbag collections and shoe collections? I know loads of people that absolutely that's their thing. Then these cards are going to be really appropriate for them, so they're going to fly. When you make them, you want to sell them or you want to give them to friends who love their shoes and love their handbags. This is going to be such a great collection to choose today. And remember, we've got lots of reasons why you should go for it today. For a start, we've got that fantastic discount code. So it's GOWCC10. Put that into the promo code box at checkout. You'll get £12.49 knocked off the price. You can also spread the cost with ClearPay if you want to as well. Bear that in mind. And also PayPal Pay in 3 is available too. But just think about it. Today, not only are we giving you the discount code, but also giving you a free extra set of coloured vignettes. Normally, you get one colourway for nothing, which you can print off straight away with the dies. And then you, if you want another colourway, have to pay for it. But today, the extra colourway is available free of charge on the website. Just go to carnationcrafts.co.uk, go to the download section, the vignette section, and you'll see the artwork there. You can print it off right away and your dies will be with you in the next few days, which is really good news. And by the way, the pop-up is available as a separate mechanism if that's all you want. If you know that your cards are lacking dimension, lacking excitement maybe, and you want to have something that is really kind of animated, then that is available for £17.99. Like Carla said, we predict that this is probably going to sell out because it's a very affordable way of getting extra interest into your card making. And that's £2.95 P&P, but of course it's free P&P. If you buy the main collection today, we'll deliver it to your door free of charge. If you're watching us in America, there is a £4.95 P&P charge for you. And if you go for the perfect papers, which we have available as well, which is basically the A4 cardstock in the same colorways as the artwork, then the maximum P&P you pay is £14.95 if you're watching us in the USA. But you can add that into your order if you'd like to, along with the main collection, and that will be delivered if you're in the UK free of charge if you're buying the main collection today. But look at those colours, aren't they gorgeous?
It's like spiced cinnamon.
Yes. 48 A4 sheets. 48 A4 sheets, and they've been hand-picked to go with the artwork. If I just look random, pick up some of these cards, look, can you see? The burgundy's in there, the cream's in there. Let's get another one here. This one's done by Lavinia Newton. So you've got that purple of the handbag and the red of the shoe. It's all in there. So 221, 211, lots of you I know always, as a matter of course, go for the perfect papers, and that's £14.99 for 48 sheets.
I love the perfect papers.
Me too.
They're literally my best friend when I'm making demos because they just make everything easy. I like easy. I'm just saying. And
they are 300 GSM cardstock. We're calling it paper because it basically kind of trips off the tongue easier, but they are cardstock. 300 GSM, 48 sheets, and that's 221, 211.
Yeah, they're not matte and they're not glossy. They're somewhere between. They're very, very lovely to play with. We have also got concentric circles. Can I briefly talk about these, Dave? Is that okay? The ovals, the concentric ovals.
It's your show.
No. Don't say that to Carnation. They'll take me off air. You've got these gorgeous, gorgeous concentric ovals. I will say it again. I know you've all heard me say it a million times. Nested dies are the most important dies you'll own because they're the most versatile. They're the ones that no matter what, you've got a card base, you've got your maps, you've got your layers. Those nested dies give us all the opportunity to create apertures, to create layered apertures, to really build up, to really build your layers up, or to really dig down into a card as well to make a sort of a deeper base. Lots of different ways of using them, and they're stunning.
It's really unusual to have slightly different shaped inner ovals, isn't it? Normally they all stay the same shape.
It's important. So if you were to cut the large one on the outside and you were to turn these ones on the inside, you're going to start making some really beautiful different shapes than you would normally ever get. One of Carnation's biggest strengths, they've got many, one of them is they're nested. They know what they're doing with nested dies, and they bring us beautiful nested dies all the time. Well, actually not often enough in my opinion. I love nested dies. I think they're amazing, and I think these are absolutely stunning. They're very delicate. There was a card sample, Dave. Is it that one? There's a card sample that is an oval.
The one I dropped on the floor.
That's the one.
That one.
This one is a really, really good way of showing you. Can you see this wee purple piece here that's going round? That's a separate oval shape. It's lifted on foam. Can you see? So I've got a gap here. And it's a really good example of how we start to use and build. When we're using nested dies, we can use this die, the outside die, as our card base. then we can use the ones that go inner, and all we're doing is skipping a beat. So you would take this die and this die, the two white ones for instance, to create that. You're cutting in between, and it'll just leave you with that gorgeous oval shape on there. So a massive thank you to Pam. Hello, Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Massive thank you to Pam for helping us out on that demo.
I've just got to say hello to you. I've just worked out how to get the messages on my iPad. I couldn't get them for some reason, but I've got them now. Vera Bow, hello Vera, morning all, she says. Pam Simpson, Karen Price, Alison Ward, Pam Wayne, Janine Dawson, Suzanne Page, Linda Wilson, Jacqueline Ward, Valerie Jobling. She says, morning Carla, Dave and Miss Tistaz. Yeah, lovely to know that you're all getting in touch with us and you're all buying and going for the collection today. Just a quick word, many of you I know ordered it yesterday when we launched it online, but of course this is the first live show of 3 today. We're here 9 o'clock now, 12 o'clock lunchtime and 2 o'clock this afternoon. So if you've got to go out to do something, you think, oh, I'm going to miss the show, you can watch them back on YouTube a little bit later on, or on Facebook as well, or indeed on carnationcrafts.co.uk. But this is the last live exclusive launch of 2022. And we've saved, I think, the best to last with the handbags and shoes.
The handbags and glad rags. Yes. Right, so let's get to demo so I can show you the pop-up, because I think that's my most important job today, is to show you the pop-up mechanism. So the way this works is really, really clever. Now, the best way, if you're first starting, my advice is to just have a go on a piece of A4 or something. Just fold it in half first. Just set yourself going that way.
What, bit of paper or card?
Yeah, just cardstock. So without any intention of making a card with it to start, get your head around it first. It's not difficult, but it just means you'll find your base first. What you've got is this piece here, and that cuts this piece here. Okay, so you can see that's just from a basic piece of card. So the piece that's missing, which is here, doesn't do anything to the piece that you cut here. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that will sit inside, but it doesn't, you take it away when you're cutting out your actual mechanism. What we then need to do is be able to stabilize that mechanism within the card. So then when you've made your card, if you're putting mats and layers, put your mats and layers on first if it helps. And we're basically putting this on here. What we're doing is where your score line is in the middle of your card. Now this is still two pieces stuck together as I would normally do. My advice when you start is just start with a straight piece of cardstock though that is folded with a score line. Yes, absolutely do it with these as you go forward so that you can use all of your card bases, but just get your bearings with it. So where my score line is down the center, all I need to do is line it up. So that can go right into my center panel up there. Have I got that the wrong way around? Do you know, half a brain and I'd be dangerous. That can sit right there and right there, okay? Yep. And what that's doing is giving us a central line, so we know we've lined it up perfectly, and it's giving me 2 cut marks there, all right? Nothing difficult with that. This then gets folded onto that score line, and these also fold inwards. And what that's doing is creating a beak that opens and closes. That beak, as such, then will just slot in to those tabs.
The engineering brain that thinks this up and works this out for us is absolutely brilliant. How would you do this anywhere else or any other way?
I know, this is why we depend on Nick so much for our crafting needs. That then slots into those 2 tabs. Now you've got 2 options once we get to that stage. You can either glue your tabs, you can pull them down to glue them, it's up to you, or if you chose, you can glue the panels at the bottom down to the card once the tabs are in place and you're happy with them. It doesn't really matter either way that you do it, but obviously as that then folds, your pop-up mechanism folds into your card and then it folds out again as it opens. Super simple to do. It's not tricky.
You can put anything on that pop-up mechanism. It could be a photograph of your cat or dog or your son or daughter, godchildren, whatever it might be. Yeah. You transform a card into a pop-up instantly.
Anything that you want. Yeah. So what I'm going to do with this, I've got my mats and layers on. I'm just going to very gently lift and I'm just going to put a little bit of wet glue on here because I want to try and get the demo done so you can see it. I'm not going to interfere with the central piece here. I'm just putting glue on either side underneath and hoping I'm hitting where I'm supposed to be. And then I'm just going to turn it towards me and just push that down so that I get the actual adhesion going.
Now, Carla, Alison Ward asks, what weight of cardstock for the pop-up, please?
Well, my advice, I'm always going to tell you to do 350 for your card bases. You need that structure. I'm going to tell you to do the same with this piece.
Okay.
Now, where you'll have issue is if you are doing, for instance, mats and layers on top like you're doing here. If you wanted to put a mat and then a layer on, you're starting to get very, very thick and you're asking a lot for any die to cut through it. So you're going to have to work your way around that. On this one, what we've got here is a piece of the backing papers cut. And this is where I would say to you, my advice, but you've got to do you. Use your backing papers for this and print your backing papers onto, I would say, a 120. So you're not adding much weight to it.
Okay.
And just cut it through and it'll be fine. If you start going much thicker than that, you're asking a lot for a little piece of metal to go through it. So keep your weight down. Your card base, it should always be 350. It really should.
And 350
so
for the
should your
pop-up.
mechanism.
Okay.
That's my advice.
Great.
And then it just closes in on itself. And you've got your little tabs that sit poking through as they do. And then as it rises, it just comes up.
And you've got to go, da-da, when you open
La,
it.
la, la, la.
Yeah.
So all of those ways. Now, when we're decorating this, for me personally, if I was going to be doing this myself, I would decorate the front of my card before I decorated the inside, just because as soon as I close this, if I've got a lot of stuff that's added to that, it's going to draw weight to it. However, what you've got to think of is you've got to think of your steps ahead. If you want to put mats and layers on the front of your card, you need that mechanism in place first, because your mat and your layer has to cover that piece of the mechanism. So work your steps out. So yes, the ideal would obviously, with any pop-up card, the same rules apply. It's always going to be ideal if you could do the front of your card first, but we never do. We have to work backwards.
Could you?
Because of your mechanism.
Could you actually tuck it into the paper rather than cut through the card blank, so that it doesn't come through the front?
You could, and if you're going to stick it, if you were going to do that, you would need to stick it like I just did with the actual form rather than using the tabs to stick.
Right.
Some people would prefer to stick it with the tabs. It's about how you want to play and where you want to play it. You're always going to want to secure it the most that you can. To me, it makes sense to do it there, but for me, red liner tape's my best friend, and I quite like to use the tabs because I would, you know, fold them back potentially. It depends what you're doing with your mats and layers.
Right, got you.
So always structure yourself, always understand your steps going forward. So the best thing I can tell you to do is cut your mats and layers for the inside, your mats and layers for the outside, and then start to work with what you feel is the most comfortable for you in the progression as you go forward. That's my advice.
Terrific.
I hope that makes sense for everybody, and I hope it kind of helped in that sense.
And just if you want that pop-up die on its own, remember, we're expecting this to be very, very, very busy and very popular. There's a detail for it. It's only $17.99. So if you're not going to go for the main collection, but you like the idea of introducing a pop-up into your cards, whatever cards you're making, there it is. 221209, just £17.99.
Now the great thing about when you do put your mats and layers on the front of your card over that tab that's sitting, that's protruding where we have put that in, is this also stabilizes it a little bit more. It sticks it right down, it makes sure it's secure, although it should already be secure where you've glued it. So then now I've done that, now I can choose to decorate the front and then choose to decorate the inside, which is where I would likely go normally under normal circumstances. Because if I start bulking this, when I try and lay things on the front, it's going to sit forward because obviously it's got the bulk on the inside. So it's just the way I would work. As it happens this morning, I'm going to do exactly the opposite of what I've just said because it's more the pop-up that I want you to see decorated than the front, and I don't want us to run out of time. So what we've got is that beautiful frosted leaf. Isn't it so pretty?
I don't think I've ever seen a die like that before.
No, it's absolutely stunning, and it's the way it's the way it works. So when you see it, you know, over a different colour and how it all starts to come in, it's just beautiful. Now, what I've done is folded that in the centre line, as you can see, and then fold it forward, so we get a fold like that.
Right.
It's almost like a fan fold. So you fold it sort of backwards, and then you're folding it forwards. So possibly the best way, fold it in half and then fold it back on itself, okay? And that is going to be the same shape as that. So I can lay it down. So as it folds up, that will come out from it. So then I'm going to use a tiny bit of wet glue, not too much,
That's
down the spine.
a lot simpler than I thought it would be, actually. When I saw you fold it, I thought, how have you done that?
No, you should just fold it in half and then in half again. It's not too tricky. So I'm just going to do this. Obviously, you might want to use other things. I'm super excited. Can you imagine the cards you can make with the mice?
Yes. Oh yeah,
with all of
pop-up
these.
mice.
So I do want a little bit just further up this spine. I'm not going to put it on the main leaf, but further up the spine, because that's where it's going to sit on my pop-up section.
And can I just say that what would be a really good idea, it was my mother-in-law actually that came up with this idea. She's not with us anymore, bless her, but certainly at Christmas time she used to watch what we use during the year, like you know, deodorant wise and shampoo and gel and all that sort of thing. She'd buy like a goodie bag for us at Christmas time. Think about doing that for your crafting. If you are going for this collection, or you're having a look on Carnation Craft's website, look at things like the everyday glue, look at the glue daubers that you were using, all those essentials that you need on a regular basis, double-sided foam pads, all that sort of thing, and put like a goodie bag together for crafty friends, and they'd really appreciate it, all the stuff you use on a daily basis. It's all on Carnation's website to look at.
And we do, don't we? We use so many things. My glue's just come unstuck on there. Right, I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. I'll glue that in a second. Let's get the demo done, because I know we're running short on time. Launch shows are always the busiest shows, but we do have 3 shows today. And I've got more of the pop-up cards to do as well, so we'll go through. But let's have a look at decorating this up first. So we've got these beautiful leaves, we've got berries, we've got shoes, we've got we've got all of the glamour of a winter. So let's bring some pieces forward so we can look at how to play on this first and foremost. Now, because this has got all the little sort of holes in it, because it's that skeleton leaf, isn't it? I can start to tuck in on these elements and I can start to glue them down. So what I'm going to do is just little bits, first of all, on here. What I don't want to do with a pop-up card, and it's important you don't do, is cross over your crease line. Right. With your elements. You need to keep them separated. So some on this side, some on this side, because as it folds inwards on itself, it's going to have sort of that bulk, and you need it to fold in with the card. So I'm keeping them on separate sides. It's just going to make things easier as it folds and unfolds. If you're going to put anything else on the crease line, you need to crease it too. So if I was, for instance, going to put a shoe down the center, let me explain, hold on. If I was going to put a shoe just here, and I wanted that shoe to pop out with the rest of it, okay? I would have to fold that shoe exactly where it's folded in the center so that it pulls forward as that mechanism closes. Right. That's going to be really important. And if I don't do that, it's not going to play in the way I want it to play. So it's super easy to do, but everything when we construct a pop-up card is a process of thought beforehand. That's nothing to do with this mechanism. It's just pop-up cards in general. But it takes about 10 minutes sitting with everything and then going, oh, now I can work it out. I now know where I'm going with it. But also, because everything's going to be standing proud, it's important that you print off the double-sided vignettes, because things are visible from the back as well as the front. Yeah. And that's something that Carnation kind of came up with and invented months ago. So yeah, fantastic. I mean, they're a ridiculously clever company, aren't they? So I'm just going to take that. I'm going to start to pull it in some leaves. I'm not going to go too wild. The main thing is that you can see where I'm going with it. And we're just going to place all through. Look at these gorgeous leaves. I'm so in love with this collection. It's so pretty. Well, so's Alison, actually. Alison says some gorgeous leaves, very similar in Tranquil Times collection. Tranquil Times. My brain just won't click. My brain won't click to all of the things, Dave, but I'm going to say, okay, Alison, because I can't remember all the different ones. Well, Alison knows her stuff, obviously. So I've got a million collections in my head. And my brain doesn't click numbers and names. I was watching something last night, and nobody's interested in this at all, but I'm going to tell you all because I've got a captive audience. I was watching something last night about ADHD brains, and the fact that we have a hard time remembering certain things. And one of those is like lists of things like collections and stuff. Your brain wouldn't be able to But I could tell you everything that happened to me when I was 3 at an event going to a fair ride, which is absolutely true.
I found as I've got older doing this sort of job, because we're taking a lot of information in a very short space of time. I've got very good short-term memory, but really rubbish long-term memory.
Oh, I'm the reverse.
Oh, are you?
100% the reverse, yeah. I couldn't tell you what I did yesterday. My brain doesn't go in those directions. Right, mine has come slightly unstuck at the back. Now the tab has come out. I'm not worried about it because I glued it underneath. This is why you would glue both the tab on the outside and the inside once it's in place, but I've already put my mat on the front, so I can't do that. I could do it on the back. So I'm just going to make sure that's secured. And again, I'm not too worried about it because I'm demoing. When you're at home and you're posting these, you have to ensure that adhesion has taken place before you do what I did, which is shut the card, because obviously it comes out of its pop-up place. So make sure you're not putting yourself into that position. But look how pretty we already are. Look at where we're going with this.
Well, I mean, all of our cards, we want when we make a card to have that wow factor. You want someone who's being given the card or someone that's purchasing the card from you to go, oh, God, that's amazing. You've made that. You've done that. That's what this has got. In a good way, they say that. Not in a bad way. They say that in a very good way. Because instantly, when it's open, you just get that surprise. And that can easily, I'd say, put another couple of pounds on the cost of the card.
Of course. Pop-up cards always do.
Yep.
Pop-up cards I've always got because it's that mechanism. But it's, to me, I mean, as much as I love the Glamour of Winter collection, I think it's absolutely stunning. Of course I do. But it's the other collections as well where it's going to play. That's what I love. It's the fact that the little creatures that we've had.
Pop-up mice.
Pop-up mice. So as well, what was the book that, again, my brain, where you read the book that Janine made on the colour of, was it The Colour of Autumn?
Yes.
Yes.
So the wee book, if you were to make the pages of those where they turn and you put the pop-up mechanism in that book as you're turning the pages, so the little creatures come out of the forest and the woodland, just all of those things. You see how we bring it all together then?
Just by buying that pop-up mechanism, just that on its own, all the collections you've bought over the months and over the years from Carnation, suddenly you've got another angle on them now, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see here that as we've got it, I've just put the shoes there, I've got that, we can see, look at that. How pretty is that?
Beautiful.
So you can make it obviously as busy as you want or not, and then we can just close that. Once you've closed it, you need to kind of burnish it. So just gently make sure your hands are clean, unlike mine, but make sure you have got, you know, just washed your hands. Whenever we're burnishing paper with our hands, you've got natural oils on your hand. Please do make sure they have just been washed, and then that will, look how clever that is. Isn't it so beautiful?
Can I just show you one that Janine's done as well? Because Janine's actually done a double pop-up. Now look at this.
Janine is
Look at this.
just...
Look at that. So you've got it going one way and the other, and then it meets in the middle.
like a beak.
Yeah.
It's like a little beak.
Wah, wah, wah.
Janine will always be, like, I think Janine's probably the world's best card maker. I think if there was a competition for card makers, Janine would just win it. And she would be walking out with lots of gold medals.
That is stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Right, I'm just going to use this crystallised width. I love this
And remember,
so
you
much.
can't get this anywhere else. This is exclusive to us at Carnation Crafts TV for the foreseeable future. And this is the last launch of a collection on Carnation Crafts TV this year. Next one will be in January. So fill your boots and enjoy it.
It's just watching this, that crystallised wisp come across. What I love about pop-up cards, and what's a really genuinely lovely thing about a pop-up, is that you're getting to decorate a card twice in the same way that you can do with an easel. But you have that idea of being able to do the front and then do the inside, and you're sort of making two cards. And I like that we get a chance to play in a different way with our colourways and with all the things that we've got.
And of course, that's got massive snippability as well. I'm kind of looking at maybe angel's wings in there somewhere as well, possibly.
So I'm going to take these leaves and I'm just going to fold them down that cut line down the centre. I'm going to take my pokey and I'm just going to just very gently just curve around those edges all the way through. So it just curves back on itself. Same again on the other side. Just using just your pokey and a thumb. Place it round. Pull it together so you've got that beautiful shaping, really sweet shaping that goes on. And it's just a very brief way of sculpting just to create a little bit more dimension and to just bring it forward.
Are you getting your monthly Carnation Crafts fix? Because I am. It's my favourite day of the month, coming to see Carla and Taz and you and bringing the new collections. I love it.
Well, I'm very lucky because I get a daily fix of Carnation, which is probably one of the most privileged positions in craft, I think. So, right, my berries and my ball tool. So, find a ball tool that is the appropriate size for the berries that you're using, and then because we're using that size, we can just go in and shape out each berry individually, just to give them that little bit of dimension and just to give it that sort of, okay, this is not the best phrase, the lumpy bumpy look on the front of it, which we want with those berries. So we're getting that lumpy bumpy just by shaping each one individually. You can then push and pull to individualize each berry on that little sprig, and they just look stunning.
I know we've covered it before, but with the vignettes and the fact that you've got the double-sided vignettes, if you want to print those off, again, they're free to download and print off now in different colorways. What thickness of paper do you recommend for the double-sided vignettes?
So, vignettes, I'm going to stop doing what I'm going to do and I'm going to talk to you because vignettes are important, right? So, Carnation Crafts, if you're brand new and you've just switched on and you're like, who are these weirdos making cards? We're a company called Carnation Crafts and we provide craft dies for all of your card making. The craft dies themselves are a piece of metal that cut through paper, but Carnation provides you with a piece of artwork that die fits directly on top of and cuts out to provide you with what's called a vignette. In the industry, Carnation is, so far as I'm aware, the only person that does what's called a double-sided vignette. So normally when you cut that piece of paper and you've printed it out, you cut it here, the reverse of that would be white because it's just a piece of card stock. However, Carnation have a image on both sides, which means we get a what's called a mirrored vignette. That doubles up what I've paid because now I can have a vignette that sits one way or I can flip it and have it the other. Normally we wouldn't get that option. In order to get your free artwork from Carnation Crafts, you need to go to the Carnation Crafts website, which is www.carnationcrafts.co.uk. There is a banner menu across the top. One of the options is downloads, and on there you'll see free downloads. If you click on free downloads,
there it is.
There is a space on the right hand side saying collections, which you can type into. You type in the collection that you want. Today's would be Glamour of Winter, and it will bring you up with a list of PDFs. You scroll through and find the PDFs that you want. You can also get free backing papers and free inserts. Once you've got those vignettes, you go to the checkout process. You don't need to put any card details in if you're just getting your artwork. You go through the checkout process and you open up those PDFs on your computer. You go to File and then Print. When you're printing, your settings are specific. So your printer settings should be best quality, and they should be on photo paper, select photo paper, either matte or glossy. You should. It's great if you use ProPrint because ProPrint in paper is different to any other paper. It doesn't absorb the ink. It's got a very low chalk content, which means all of that colour, that pop of colour sits on the top. If you have got any worries about ProPrint, if you think that it's not a real thing, please do ask on the comments here. Anyone on the comments here who've used ProPrint will tell you the same thing. It is a complete different world of printing. You don't need a fancy printer, you just need ProPrint.
And we've got that on our website, yeah, ProPrint paper. Yeah.
If you're doing what's called a mirrored vignette where you've got the image on both sides, my advice is to use a 120 GSM ProPrint because it's almost paper basically. And so by the time you've doubled it up, it's then a 240. Right. So then you get this really sturdy base. If you don't want to do a mirrored vignette and you just want to do it single-sided, my advice would be to print it on the 220. However, I do know for some people their personal preference is to do it on a 170 because they don't like it so thick. I just like the chunkier style. So I'm a 120 and a 220 girl. Linda Wilson saying I love ProPrint, you know, highly recommended.
Yeah.
It changes the way you craft. Use it sparingly, you'll enjoy it. It does have a shiny side to it. ProPrint's got two sides, a shiny side and a rough side. You need to print on the shiny side. If you're at all unsure as to which is the shiny side and which is the rough side, please do use a Sharpie and just in a tiny little bit in the corner and just mark your paper. First of all, the vibrancy on the Sharpie will be apparent, so you'll know which one. But otherwise you'll also see the lumpy bumpies as well through. So there you
Now,
go.
also with the vignettes, today is different, and you get an extra bonus today, by the way. Not only have you got the discount code, which is GOWCC10, so basically Glamour of Winter, Carnation Crafts 10, so GOWCC10, that will get you 10% off at checkout, taking £12.50 off the price. But also the vignettes that we're talking about, normally they're available free in one colourway, and other colourways you have to pay an extra £20 odd for sometimes. Today, there's more colourways that are absolutely free for this collection, and you can print those off right away now. Single vignettes, double vignettes, like Carla was talking about. It's all there for you on our website, carnationcrafts.co.uk.
Right, give me 2 seconds. I'm just chucking these down.
Chucking them
Not
down.
a technical term, I will just say, just to give this one finishing element. When we come back this afternoon, I probably won't do a pop-up, certainly in the first show. We'll actually start to look at the vignettes as a whole and the collection as a whole, so you're getting a more full view of everything that is within the collection. The aim being, of course, is that you see everything by the end of the time we have finished the demos during the week.
And of course, if you want that demonstration again, or if you've just tuned in now, just switched on or whatever, you can watch this back. Donna says, after Carla advised, I changed to pro printing paper, much better, crisper images. Thank you for that, Donna. And also Michelle says, and Suzanne says, love pro print, worth every penny. So yeah, any comments, any questions, any queries, just get in touch. Michelle says, when I use pro paper, I have to print it one page at a time, otherwise it starts printing a quarter way down. Do you have any idea why?
Prints a quarter of the way down your page.
Must be printer settings, mustn't it?
Printer settings or your roller, maybe not liking the slippy parts of the paper, so maybe change, if you've got your settings to glossy photo paper, maybe change it to matte photo paper.
Okay.
It may grasp it more, or vice versa. Other than that, I genuinely don't know. Printers are strange beasts. I've never had that issue with mine, so it's a technical thing as opposed to something that, you know, it's specific to the paper. It's a technical printer thing, and I don't know the answer to it. But for me, it would seem like you're setting something to do with where you're looking at glossy paper or matte paper. I would think is the issue. Your roller is trying to compensate for something.
Yeah, go into settings and change it and
yeah,
see if that makes a difference.
Have a go at changing that and see if it makes a difference, Michelle. It might do. It might make a difference. So just to finish off here, if that's okay, just to say we've got that beautiful spray that goes across, which is so pretty. There's something very gentle about that. And then obviously, when you open it, you've got your finished product there. I'll just turn it around so you can see it at the front. And so you get that pop of colour.
You know what? This has become quite addictive, I think, when you've got the mechanism that does all the scoring for you, all the cutting for you, and allows you to make every card you make, whether it's a Carnation card or not, into a pop-up. I mean, this one's been done by Lavinia Newton. Lavinia's done actually a double pop-up. When one's not enough, go for two. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? You could even have maybe 3 or 4 pop-ups in this one if you wanted to.
I know, literally. And that's the thing, isn't it? So when I'm saying Colour of Autumn with that book where you open it up, think of the fairy tales that you're about to bring to life with that pop-up, the layered pop-ups you could have. Now, can you just open that, Dave? See where that feather is really tall?
Yep.
The leaf.
The leaf, yeah.
If you were to make the next one just slightly lower, one in front that's slightly lower, one in front, you would get the most phenomenal scenes going through. If you
3D.
think of the family Christmas, I think it was, Taz, with the Scandi trees. Those Scandi trees would be amazing on that to create a forest.
Oh, wow. With a few little mice in there for good measure.
Little squirrels and little mice and little chipmunks.
Now let me just remind you that of the main collection today, we've got 2 more shows. You can watch this one back at any time on YouTube or indeed on Facebook or indeed on the Carnation Crafts website as well. The main collection today, it's brand new and exclusive to us at Carnation Crafts. You're not going to find this anywhere else on any other TV channel yet or anywhere else at all, not in stores or anything. It's 221201, that's the product code, and this is going to give you everything. And the main highlight and the focal point is that frosted oak leaf card shape, which is absolutely gorgeous. But what gives it the point of difference is the pop-up mechanism. Now, that is included in the main collection with free postage. GOWCC10 is going to get you 10% off when you get to checkout, so it's not $124.99, it will be about 100 and 112, something like that, and it'll be on its way straight away, free of charge of any P&P. If you want the perfect papers, by the way, as well, and these have been manufactured by Carnation in the colourways that match or coordinate with the artwork, the vignettes. If I just show you this easel card here, just put that next to the perfect papers. Can you see? It's the perfect combination of colours. Nothing clashes, everything coordinates beautifully well. So if you fancy that, that's 6 colours, 8 of each, 48 sheets in total. That's just $14.99, and of course that will be free P&P if you buy the main collection as well. Otherwise it's $2.95 postage. And of course the vignettes today, excitingly, are not just one colourway that you're going to get absolutely free. You can print off the different colourways that are on the website at no extra charge either. So now your shoes can be in different colours, your handbags can be in different colours, your oak leaves can be in different colours as well. Order it now, it'll be dispatched straight away. It will leave the warehouse and leave Carnation within, well, before the next show starts, as simple as that. So it'll be with you in the next day or two. Very, very quick delivery, always with Carnation. And of course, we've got 2 more shows. So we've focused on the pop-up in this one. Next, we'll do something a bit different at 2 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, and then we're back at 2 o'clock with the final live show of the day today. So set your alarm on your watch so you don't miss the 12 o'clock show. We're going to go and have a coffee.
Aye.
Aye. And we'll see you back in a couple of hours at 12 midday. Enjoy your collection. See you later.